Hey guys, another review. Before we get into the video though, I am going to say we are still trying to hit 1,000 before the end of the year. So after this video, consider subscribing, and yeah, let's move on to the video. And welcome back to another video. And you may be wondering where the figure is. There it is. There it is. And this abomination of a figure is Legacy Point Blank. He is a reimagined of the old G1 Target Master, and of course this is Target Master right here. And the thing is, I don't care about him. He turns into a gun, and yeah, that's about it. He has no posability whatsoever, and yeah. Oh, fuck you. Anywho, Point Blank. Before I get to anything about him, I just want to say, I don't like this guy. And what I mean by that, do I think there's anything wrong with him? Yeah, he has a few issues, but that's not the reason why I don't like him. The reason why I don't like him is because he's boring. Like, the colors is... I love the colors, okay? Don't get me wrong. The colors on it are amazing, but, like, this figure is just so boring. Like, my God, I've seen boring figures in my life, but it's just boring. It's very boring. The sculpting is pretty good, but the issues I have with this figure just, ugh. For starters, this figure is just very loose. His legs are... God damn it. Yeah, shit like that can happen. And he is going to be in my newest animation when I get to it. I just want to do a review of this guy because I want to show you why I hate him. Like, he's an abomination to me. Like, this figure just sucks. Like, it just sucks. Like, his face sculpt, though, is honestly... Oh, give it a second. Sorry. He's got to focus. There we go. The sculpting on his face is honestly not terrible. It's pretty good for a sculpt of a figure. And, oh. Give it a second. Alright, sorry. Autofocus sucks on this thing. But, like I said, the painting is honestly pretty good. It hasn't chipped at all. And I do mess around with this a lot. That's one of the only good things I can say about it besides the sculpting. And another issue I have. The shoulders don't fucking tab in. Like, why? And also, why does the backwards bend do better than the forward bend? And my question is, why is there a backwards bend? I know it's for the transformation, but why? Why? And also, another issue. This thing doesn't tab in, doesn't do anything. It just sits in the back of the figure, just flopping around. Another thing is, if you accidentally push it up too hard, this happens. It untabs. The tab is not solid. Like, the tabbing is not solid on this figure. It's looser than the fucking legs. It just, ugh. And like I said, the only accessory was this fucking thing here. Just fuck off. Just, alright. The pros is it has at least some decent posability. Insert Jobby the Hong reference here. First off, yes, it does have a head swivel because it is on, I believe, a ball joint. I don't know, but it is extremely tight. And another thing I don't like about it, the rotation on the shoulder is, ugh. I don't like how it's diagonal. I don't like that. Arm can move out. I have to hold it there. Otherwise, it'll do that first. And I don't want it to do that. Like, oh, yes. No, it's not. It does not help in animating whatsoever. It's more of a drawback than anything. Of course, it has a bend at the arm, which is absolute garbage. Like, Jesus Christ, why is that bend like that? It has a elbow swivel, No wrist articulation, and focus phone. Focus. Sorry. Next, of course, we have waist swivel. And to give this piece of shit its due, has a great kick forward, a great kick backward, and it can do the splits. Beautiful spread. Anywho, next we have a thigh swivel. That is not a fucking thigh. The thigh swivel sucks on this thing. Like, it doesn't even do a full 360. It just stops. And the bend at the knee legit is transforming the knee, which there should be at least a block. And by the way, hollow. They couldn't add spring-loaded gap. Okay, I'm gonna explain that in a minute. And the last piece of articulation is a pivot it does not deserve for the ankle. This figure just isn't great, in my opinion. I don't like it. It's not good. And in fact, the reason why I was even saying why not add gap fillers is for one reason only, and that is for this figure right here. For comparison time, for the first comparison, we have Siege Starscream. And look at the back legs. Spring-loaded gap fillers. Take notes, you piece of garbage. Alright, next for scale, we got the figure we reviewed last time, Legacy United Optimus, Animated Optimus. And as you can tell, he is a Voyager and he is a deluxe. I forgot to mention, Point Blank is a deluxe figure. Next for comparison is also someone that was I believe, a Target Master when it was reissued. Transformers Kingdom Cyclonus. And this figure right here is extremely better than this one right here. This is going to be in video soon. I don't know when. And lastly, my favorite figure of all time, Thrilling 30s. Well, you can already tell it's better. We have my favorite figure to have in my videos, Thrilling 30s Whirl. And you may be thinking, but Solus, he doesn't have a waist swivel or a waist swivel. I know. And you know why I say to that? I don't care. It makes sense for this one right here for not to have a wrist or waist swivel because, one, he has no hands. He has claws. And next, he doesn't have a waist because his waist is legit a cockpit that can open, by the way. And guess what? He has a 360 thigh swivel. And he has a backwards bend at the knee, which is I love because of the chicken legs. And yeah, he may not have as much posability, but at least he's actually made to be better than this hunk of junk right here. And as you can tell, he does scale pretty well with most of my figures. I just don't really like using him in my videos because every time I do, he just ends up not working out. So from now on, he's basically just going to be the punching bag for Whirl. But as a Transformer is, he can transform. So let's get started. First, you want to pull this down and fold the head inside the chest cavity. Fold that back up and then fold this right here. And make sure it's like this. Make sure it's facing like this. Next, what you want to do is turn the shoulders around like this. Next, what you want to do is do that and do that with the arms and do that and do the same thing on the other side. Fold the arms down. Actually, wait, before you do that, have it like this and do that. Then fold the arms down. Then do that. And for a better example, with the other arm, when you fold it down, make sure it's facing like this. Make sure it looks like this. Then you want to just slide it like that over the arm. Next, you want to do that and make sure they're facing like this, and make sure these are clipped in so that way there's no issues in the transformation. Next, you just want to fold them in right here to make it look like that. Next, what we're going to do is pull these little things right here and make sure they go in those little tiny slots right there. Make sure the nubs go in those slots right there. And do the same thing on the other side. Next, what we want to do, we want to turn it this way. And we want to make sure this is folded up to make sure we have clearance for the legs. Now, what we do is we maneuver the legs to fit in between that little gap right there. And then we want to, and on the feet, there's a tiny little tab, and there's a little tab hole, and there's a little tab right there. There's a little tab right there on the side piece. You'll be able to see it if you have the figure. You can't see on here because the fucking resolution sucks. So what you want to do is make sure the tab goes in the tab hole. And then do the same thing on the other side, which is extremely difficult sometimes, which is one of the other reasons why I hate this figure, because the transformation on it is not great. It is a very big waste of time, in my opinion. And car mode. Face it down and zoom in. Boom, we got car mode. And in all honesty, this is one of the only good parts, even though the transformation sequence sucks ass. And as you can tell, it can roll, and it's a car. It's what people thought cars would look like. Kibble, not terrible. I've seen worse kibble underneath the car mode, and this is honestly the least worst I've ever seen in my life. And cool little thing you can do, which ironically they actually did add a cool little gimmick to this thing. Just turn this guy into gun mode, and you'll see right here he has two little tabs on the side of his arms, and you see two little tab holes on this. So you want to just place that in the middle and put it like that. Make sure it's like that. Do that, and boom, you got a gun, and it kind of fills out the gap, which I hate that. But yeah, that is Point Blank in car mode. Nothing really any special, just that cool little gimmick and be gone thought. And yeah, this guy is something. And honestly, like I said, he's just gonna be a punching bag in my animations. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and consider liking the video, and consider subscribing to help me reach 1,000 by the end of the year. And if you have any feedback for me, just leave it down in the comments below. And I hope you all have a wonderful night, evening, or morning. See you all in the next video.